Hello everybody, my name is Beam and I am Jerem's best friend, and I would like to post a video today where I explain why the proof by truthfulness by Ibn Isa is the ultimate proof that there is definitely a God, and that God can only be the Muslim God, Allah. It cannot be the Jewish God, the Christian God, or any other God. And I would like to begin by explaining why it can only be Allah and no other God is possible. It is because the Christian God is a trinity, and the Jewish are known to have had many gods, and every religion has many gods even if they say that they're monotheistic. But the truth is, there is only one truly monotheistic religion, and it is Islam. Therefore Allah is the only God. To give you a brief rundown of the proof by truthfulness by Ibn Isa, the proof by truthfulness says that everything is caused, and the universe must come back to an initial cause, similar to a Big Bang. Therefore, the universe must be caused. If the universe must be caused, something must have caused it. But that thing cannot be something within the universe, because the universe has not yet been caused. Therefore, the thing that has caused the universe must be exterior to the universe. And we all know that for something to cause the universe, it cannot have been more than one thing. Therefore, every religion other than Islam is wrong. Because Allah tells us, the Quran tells us, Muhammad tells us, that there is only one God. And this must be true. It is necessary that it is true. And we have just proven that it is true, because anything that is initially caused can only be caused by one entity. One entity. Furthermore, that entity must have a brain, and that entity must create through an act of benevolence and willpower. Nothing else can create a universe, but something that is by itself and benevolent, that has used its willpower. And I'm not making any mistakes on this argument, just so you know. You might look, there are many versions of this argument, but let me tell you, every version of this argument that you will find, no matter where you look, will have no difference from the version that I've given you. So I want you to understand that you have come to the best place to collect this argument into your repertoire, and this is something that no atheist can defend against, and no other person from any other religion, no infidel, can ever defend against this perfect argument. This is the best form of this argument, so don't go looking for some other person that's going to try to tell you what this argument's all about or how to break it down. I understand this argument very well. I've watched hours and hours of videos. I've spoken with hundreds of Muslims. I've spoken to their religious leaders. I've read every book on the subject. I know everything about it. Now I'm just going to go through a few slides, because I'm sure you have questions, and I want to answer every question you might have. For example, how do you know it is an act of will? Let's say that Allah is a man, but I will use pictures of women because I enjoy looking at pictures of women. Allah forgive me. So we'll say that Allah is a man, but we'll use pictures of women. Okay, so we all know that Allah created the universe through an act of thought. And, well, Allah cannot have thought anything before, because this was the first time that anything ever moved. So his first thought was the universe. Yes, God is great. And what did Allah use as a reference point for rivers and stars and people? Obviously, he used his own experiences, but he didn't have any experiences because he was the first mover. So the experiences were obviously from before, so maybe there was some other things in the universe that was where Allah resided. And that universe was, before that, was created by a prime mover, which was Allah also. But as far as this second Allah, he had many references. Wait, no, I've changed my mind. So Allah existed in between water and air, but there were no water and air. Let me just move to the next slide. I forgot what I was going to say, but trust me, it was very, very poignant and extremely mentally challenging and effective at arguing against any other religion, especially the Jewish religion. Yes. Now, for humans to breathe, they need air. Therefore, a human in a background, in a vacuum, survives. Well, actually, Allah was just the mind of a human. It was not a human. It was the mind of a human. I remember. Allah was able to think of that he wanted to do. Yes, that's the reference point. There we go. Now I'll just go for it now. So Allah came from another universe, and when he hopped into our universe, the first thing he said was, "Let there be universe." And henceforth from his mouth came, hence from his mouth, I'm sorry, I forgot, we're using pictures of women, but Allah is a man. So he gave birth to the universe as immediately when he landed through his ideas. And it was expressed as the entire universe, and it was growing. It was growing, but it was all determined in advance. He knew exactly what was going to happen, but you have free will. And that works, trust me. I'll get to that in another video, I promise. So, what did Allah drink before he created the universe? Well, there was no water because he was the only thing. So, it's likely that he drank himself. So, as anyone who knows about yoga, and of course, God is the best at everything, so he was doing extreme yoga. And in extreme yoga, especially in the morning, we all know a bit of your own substance to nourish yourself. Delicious. And what did Allah eat? Of course, himself as well. Yes, Allah was very excellent at cooking succulent masterpieces, like a gourmet chef. So he would just take a bit off the thigh, and he was very much like a human eating himself, with a human mind. And auto-cannibalism is also okay in the Quran. It's in there. Just look at the scriptures. Now, if Allah became sick, who would he see? This woman, because she was also, that's his mom. I want you to understand that humans are very good at making things. This is how we know that Allah must have created the universe through an act of will, because humans create through acts of will, and acts of will only, except when they're growing. Then their bodies just kind of grow by themselves. We work as a community to build things together. That's how we know that there was but one God and no other gods or any other organisms of any kind that must have created the universe. And humans are the only creatures that can create. So these bees were determined to create their beehive before the universe began. And it can't be bees that create the universe. Anyway, that's what I'm trying to get at. We know that bees, they create honeycombs, but they can't create something as amazing as clay pots, for example, where you have to gather the resources and then you have to build, no, it's complicated as blowing glass, because you need heat. There it is, yes. Yeah, and as far as, nests and homes, and obviously they're just using gathered material. This is how humans can also build a dam. So it can't be a beaver that created the universe, obviously. But it can be a human, because look at how complicated this dam is. And nothing this complicated can be created without the hands of men, such as a dam. That, well, this is a different kind of dam. This dam is kind of like a battery, and it stores energy. So to create a universe, you need to store energy. We all know that the Big Bang was just a big energy bomb of batteries, basically, kind of like fusion. So this annihilates atheism, by the way, because something very complicated, humans are better designers than any other animal. So it must have been a human that created the universe. And if you obviously look at anything biological, it's more complicated than what humans are capable of making. So it must have been a god. And that god must have been human, because humans are better at creating things than any of the animals that we know. And we know everything about everything. We've seen every kind of animal. And yes, and we also know that the complex systems, they just kind of create themselves sometimes. But that's because everything was determined in advance by Allah, including everything that you can do, but you have a choice of what you will do based on your nature. So Allah knows what you're going to do, but he does not know what you're going to choose, except he knows your nature, so he knows what you're going to choose. So you don't really have... Anyway, the point is that it's all determined, and Allah made this. Allah makes every hair, every molecule, every atom, every quark. And there are, let's see, 3.84 to the power, times 10 to the power of 80 times 3 quarks, at least this many quarks, in the universe, all moving at or about the speed of light, and they may be in multiple places simultaneously, but Allah knows where they all are at all times, because he is computationally supreme. Yes, sir, he's the apex of computational capacity, but he is only the size of a human, just keep that in mind. Or he could be very big, I don't know, but anyway, he looks like a human. He has, like me, my features, like me. Definitely, man. So, as you know, we can see, small particles with microscopes and everything, but we're using glass, so they're not actually real. So the real universe, the reason it seems like, there's so many like quarks and everything, but I'm only saying that just to help the atheists, but just between you and me and the other Muslims, I just want you to remember that viruses don't really exist, and bacteria don't really exist, and the earth, it's actually not really round, it's actually kind of more flat, but it's just an illusion, kind of like the Truman Show. I don't know, Jim Carrey's a very good show, and this is all kind of like, so Allah really just made the earth, the world, or the cosmos, because, yeah, the moon and the planets are actually very small, and they just go around the world in a circle pattern. So when you look at them, they look like they're going in an ellipse pattern, they're not going in an ellipse pattern, they're actually going in a circle pattern, so we should call them the cosmos. Just between us Muslims, but don't tell the atheists, because then they're going to give you a low grade on the science exams, and you won't be able to get a nice job. But don't worry about that. Just worry about stay in Islam. This is the most important thing, because you embarrass your family. And 2 angels are going to beat your ghost right beneath your gravestone when you die. It's very important to remember that the angels that visit your grave, who are supposed to take you from earth to heaven, they're going to judge you and beat you until Allah wants them to stop, unless you are always in Islam. So please, just remember, we live in a universe that's only the world. And maybe the cosmos, but maybe not. But certainly not real, like it's described in like scientism or anything. No. So this, again, we're just destroying scientism and atheism. So let's just go back to the beginning. Let's just explain everything one more time. So God, who is very like me, and there shouldn't be a bed in this picture, but just pretend there's no bed and no clothing, and just imagine me basically I'm naked, okay? And, well, I'm not really naked, but just like, sometimes. So just imagine I'm taking a shower, but there's no water, and there's no faucets, and there's no bathroom, and there's no, so just imagine me naked. And essentially, that's God. And God created the universe through expressing his thoughts, his initial thoughts, created the universe, because it must have happened. It's the only possible explanation, again, because everything comes back to an initial cause. And an initial cause means that there must have only been one, exactly one, organism or creature that causes anything, because nothing is caused by more than one person. Or, in this case, God, because God is like me, right? So there's only, if I do something, I do it by myself. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. So when you do something, don't you do it by yourself? Of course you do. So everybody does. So anything that's ever done is caused by. And as far as cause is concerned, anyway, I mean, we know that everything is caused, because we do know everything. And we know, like, randomness, for example, is caused. And we know, yes, smallpox, we know this is caused... Well, I have another whole video on smallpox, but I didn't upload that. I'll upload that later. I just want to just get a few details worked out. But basically, we know that smallpox is good because it tells you that you can enjoy your life more, because you can see that it's bad, and painful. So then you understand it, like you understand what I'm saying, right? You know what I'm saying? Like if you don't get spanked on the bottom when you're a baby and cry, I mean who are you? Nothing. So essentially what's happening is so if a baby gets cancer or smallpox, which is very painful and lasts a long time and then they die, and the family is very unhappy, then later the family can be very happy because they don't have smallpox. So that's why God determined that smallpox will happen, but maybe he didn't. But it seems like the devil did it, but God knew that the devil would do it, but he just made the nature of the devil to do it, but he didn't, but he knew that the devil would do it, but he only knew that the devil would have the choice and that he would choose it by his nature, but he didn't know that he would do it. Anyway, atheists are going to tell you, and those foolish atheists are going to tell you that a man is an island. No man is an island, that's what they say. I would say every man is an island. Every man, every monkey, every bumblebee, just every, bacteria. For me personally, like many men, they will sleep with their partner, but I don't even sleep with my partner. I sleep with myself, and every man is an island. It's true. So we know that, like, even bumblebees, they only sleep by themselves, and the flowers, they don't like grab their feet together or anything. That's a myth from atheism. You can't find pictures of that. So I tried to, and this is the only picture that I found. And we can see that bumblebees need things to survive, but humans don't. So next time you think of God, just remember that his first thought is the proof of benevolence. And everyone is an island. And humans can live without air or water or food. And when God jumped from the other universe, there must have been another universe that God was in, but the first God came from another universe and then landed in our universe, and then he was the first cause. So that's how he knows everything. Or maybe differently. I don't know. And that's his mom. And just remember that everything that humans are made of is basically other little animals and little organisms and little constituent parts. But like everything had to be, in the beginning, it had to be all one thing, like exactly one substance, but not two substances. So the way that complex things work is not the way God works. So here's more like just like one molecule, but like a human. So like pure human essence, holiness. Oh yes. Like me, like a man. And I mean, we can see, like, there's not just one organ, but there's so many. So we know that each organ has lots of little different kinds of cells that all have their own functions. And then they have little, like they have like flora and things like bacteria and viruses living in there necessary for the organism to survive. But there were no viruses or anything when God was alive, and there was no organs. And then, of course, we know that like the gut is just like full of biome and like flora and fauna. And of course, we need trees to eat to survive and everything, but God doesn't need that stuff because he's like me. I don't even eat. Actually, look online and you can find, like, just go on YouTube and look for anyone who one time a man went for like 2 whole years with his wife. They didn't even eat one time. That's true. Okay, so yeah, just remember, like, plants, they need soil, but I mean, maybe they don't, and God just had plants, but he wasn't moving anyway, so it doesn't matter because he was the first mover. Plants, animals, of course, we eat animals, some of us. I don't like animals, but personally, Alice said it's okay, so I'll even eat myself. And of course, it requires a community to raise a child, so just make sure you tell the child that the one true God is Allah, and it all makes sense. And of course, God didn't have any of that, so that's how he knows that it's good, because we have to be more like God, yes. Anyway, thank you. This has been Beam. I'm Jerem's best friend, and I'm a Muslim, and peace be with you. God is great. Never leave Islam because it's very dangerous for you. The angels will beat you at your grave. And spread the word to your family and friends, and let them know they come sign up on my YouTube. I post another video like this every couple of days. And basically, I give you the rap, like the best version. Truthfulness argument is very not broken, no problems with it. It's perfect, especially when I describe it. So now you know everything. So now you can be a Muslim, and yeah, now you're gonna be like me. Except you wear your clothes, okay? Especially on your face. God, ugh. Yeah, but you can be a little bit like me, okay? But make sure you're drinking water. Thank you.